So, like, have you made friends there? Are you hanging with Diddy? I think he's in there with you.
He is. And I don't know.
First, Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam Bankman-Fried, often referred to as SBF, was once the golden boy of the cryptocurrency world. Born on March 6, 1992 in Stanford, California, to two Stanford Law School professors, it looked like this young man was properly destined for greatness. After graduating from MIT with a degree in physics and mathematics in 2014, he ventured into the financial sector, eventually founding FTX in 2019. FTX rapidly grew to become the second largest cryptocurrency exchange globally. This raised SBF's status as a crypto mogul. However, the meteoric rise was followed by a catastrophic fall. In November 2022, FTX collapsed amid allegations of misusing customer funds, leading to billions in losses for investors. SBF was arrested and charged with multiple counts of fraud and conspiracy. Despite his defense claiming operational mistakes rather than intentional fraud, he was convicted on all charges in November 2023. The following March, he was sentenced to 25 years in federal prison and ordered to forfeit over $11 billion. Life behind bars has been a crazy contrast to his previous wealth. Reports indicate that SBF has struggled to adapt to prison life, particularly with the food, leading to significant weight loss. In a bid to regain his freedom, he and his family have launched a campaign seeking a presidential pardon from Donald Trump, highlighting his undisclosed contributions to Republican politicians and criticizing the current administration's crypto policies. Second, Prakash Hinduja. Prakash Hinduja, chairman of the Hinduja Group in Europe, was born into a family renowned for its global business empire and philanthropic endeavors. The Hinduja name has been synonymous with skillful business practices and an expansive portfolio spanning automotive, finance, and real estate. Growing up in such an illustrious environment, Prakash was expected to uphold the family's sterling reputation, a reputation built over decades of success and influence. However, the narrative took a dramatic turn when serious allegations surfaced regarding the treatment of domestic workers employed by the group. In June 2024, in a case that stunned both the corporate world and human rights advocates, Prakash Hinduja and several family members were sentenced to between 4 and 4.5 years in prison. The court found that they had systematically exploited domestic workers, subjecting them to abusive working conditions that left many reeling. This verdict not only tarnished the Hinduja legacy, but also ignited widespread debates about corporate accountability and the ethical treatment of employees. The downfall of a figure once hailed as a paragon of business excellence really makes one realize that no one is above the law. Üçüncü Faruk Fatih Özer. Faruk Fatih Özer, founder of Turkey's cryptocurrency exchange Thodex, was once seen as a trailblazer in a burgeoning digital finance landscape. With a visionary approach, Özer built Thodex into a platform that attracted significant investor interest, drawing millions into what many believed was the future of financial innovation. His initial success promised vast riches and a revolution in online trading. However, this promising venture soon unraveled into a cautionary tale. In September 2023, Özer was handed an extraordinary sentence of 11,196 years in prison after being convicted of fraud. The court found him guilty of orchestrating a massive scheme that defrauded investors of approximately $2 billion. His dramatic downfall exposed the inherent risks of an unregulated cryptocurrency market and the devastating impact of financial mismanagement. The case showed the urgent need for stricter regulatory oversight and transparency in the digital finance arena. Reports by Reuters and BBC have detailed the collapse of Thodex and the severe legal repercussions that followed. Vierde Peter Newgord. Peter Newgord, once a powerhouse in the fashion world, built an empire that dazzled with glamour and trend-setting style. His name was synonymous with luxury and influence, and for years he enjoyed a status that placed him among the elite. However, behind the glittering facade lay a dark reality. At the age of 83, Newgord's legacy took a dramatic turn when he was convicted on multiple sexual assault charges involving numerous women and minors. Can you imagine that? The trial, closely followed by the media and the public, exposed a pattern of abuse that shocked even those who once admired his contributions to fashion. In a landmark verdict reported by the Financial Times, the Canadian Canadian courts sentenced him to 11 years in prison, a punishment that showed the severe consequences of his actions. Or does it? The conviction of Peter Nygård is a powerful reminder that no amount of wealth or influence can shield one from facing justice, if one can even call it that. Bishinji Sun Dawu. Chinese billionaire Sun Dawu, a prominent agricultural entrepreneur, once epitomized success in China's rapidly modernizing agribusiness sector. Rising from humble beginnings, he built an empire that revolutionized farming techniques and boosted rural development. His innovative approach not only transformed the traditional agricultural landscape, but also amassed considerable wealth and influence in an industry that had long been seen as resistant to change. However, Sun Dawu's illustrious career took a dramatic turn amid a widespread government crackdown on corruption among high-profile business figures. Accused of bribery and abuse of power, he was convicted on corruption charges that sent shockwaves through the corporate world. In a stern move to reinforce accountability, Chinese authorities sentenced him to 18 years in prison, a verdict that shows the government's zero-tolerance stance on unethical business practices. This sweeping action is part of a broader initiative to cleanse the business environment and restore public trust in corporate governance. Even those at the pinnacle of success are not immune to the consequences of corruption. 6. Changpeng Zhao. Changpeng Zhao, known as CZ in the crypto world, is the co-founder and former CEO of Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by trading volume. Born in China and raised in Canada, Zhao's journey from humble beginnings to helming a global financial powerhouse was nothing short of extraordinary. However, even titans aren't immune to the long arm of the law. In November 2023, U.S. authorities charged him with money laundering, and he subsequently pleaded guilty, a decision that reverberated throughout the digital finance community. In April 2024, a U.S. federal judge sentenced him to 4 months in prison, reflecting the seriousness of the charges while taking into account his cooperation during the investigation. By September 2024, Zhao had completed his sentence, marking a brief but notable pause in his illustrious career. No matter how groundbreaking your ideas, adherence to financial regulations remains non-negotiable. Yedinchi Qinhui. Qin Hui, also known as Carl Qin, found himself entangled in legal troubles when his attempts to manipulate U.S. immigration laws came crashing down in May 2024. Once operating under the radar, Qin orchestrated fraudulent schemes designed to exploit loopholes in the immigration system for personal gain. However, his actions did not go unnoticed. Federal authorities, employing a combination of diligent investigation and advanced detection techniques, uncovered his elaborate plan, ultimately leading to his arrest. Convicted on charges related to immigration fraud, Qin's case quickly became a high-profile example of the U.S. government's zero-tolerance policy toward those who seek to undermine established legal processes. In a decisive ruling, the court sentenced him to 7 months in prison and ordered his removal from the United States, underscoring that even cunning schemes have their limits when confronted with rigorous law enforcement. The outcome of this case has gotten people talking about the vulnerabilities within the immigration system, while also reinforcing the importance of accountability and strict oversight. 8. Alan Stanford. Alan Stanford, once hailed as a financial wizard and considered a billionaire, built a reputation that masked one of the largest Ponzi schemes in history. As the chairman of the Stanford Financial Group, he charmed investors with promises of extraordinary returns, creating an illusion of prosperity and stability. His financial empire, built on trust and persuasive allure, eventually crumbled when it was revealed that billions of dollars had been siphoned from unwitting investors. The unraveling of his scheme sent shockwaves through the financial world, exposing the dark underbelly of unchecked ambition and fraudulent practices. In a dramatic turn of events, a U.S. court sentenced Stanford to an astonishing 110 years in prison, a punishment that showed the severity of his crimes and the crazy impact on those who had placed their trust in him. Really, no matter how dazzling one's exterior may be, unethical practices inevitably lead to ruin. 9. Raj Rajaratnam. Raj Rajaratnam, the founder of the Galleon Group hedge fund, was once celebrated as one of Wall Street's brightest stars before his dramatic fall from grace. Rising quickly in the high-stakes world of hedge funds, Rajaratnam earned a reputation for his sharp investment acumen and bold market moves. However, his career took a dark turn when a far-reaching investigation revealed that he had engaged in widespread insider trading, exploiting confidential information to reap enormous profits at the expense of unsuspecting investors. In 2011, his illegal activities were laid bare, leading to his conviction and an 11-year prison sentence, a landmark case that sent shockwaves through the financial industry and led to tighter regulatory oversight. Despite the severity of his sentence, Rajaratnam was released in 2019 after serving 8 years behind bars. This decision sparked considerable debate over the justice meted out for white-collar crimes. Patham Thomas Kwok. Thomas Kwok was once a shining star in Hong Kong's property world. He co-chaired Sun Hung Kai Properties, one of Asia's most influential real estate giants, and was a member of a renowned business dynasty that seemed almost untouchable. With a portfolio boasting some of the most iconic skyscrapers and luxury developments in the region, his career really was all about confidence and unmatched success. Yet, in 2014, his impeccable reputation crumbled when corruption charges emerged, shaking the very foundation of Hong Kong's corporate elite. The courts found him guilty of engaging in corrupt practices, a verdict that led to a 5-year prison sentence. This dramatic turn of events left many wondering how someone with such deep roots in high-stakes real estate could fall so far. Despite the glamorous image that once surrounded him, Kwok's case showed a timeless truth. Wealth and influence are no shield against unethical behavior. After serving his sentence, he was released in 2019, but the scandal continues to cast a long shadow over his name.